With the rollout of M4 across most of Apple's products, all eyes are now on the next big thing, the M5 lineup. And one product we're all excited to see updated, the Mac Mini. What kind of upgrades can we expect? Will we get both an M5 and an M5 Pro version? Well, today, we're diving into everything we know so far. At the end of 2024, Apple finally gave the Mac Mini a fresh new design, the first real update in about 15 years. The old, flat, kinda chunky design was replaced with something sleeker, lighter, and more in line with the Mac Studio. It's compact, packed with ports, and offers amazing value. The M4 model starts at $599, giving you a 10-core CPU, 10-core GPU, 16 gigs of RAM, and 256 gigs of storage. If you want more power, the M4 Pro starts at $1399 and bumps you up to 24 gigs of RAM and 512 gigs of storage. Both models have been a massive success, and a big part of that is the design and port selection. On the back, you'll find an Ethernet port, an HDMI port, and 3 USB ports. If you go with the standard M4, those USB-C ports are Thunderbolt 4. Opt for the M4 Pro. They upgrade to Thunderbolt 5. Up front, you get 2 USB-C ports, which is super handy. The only real downside. The power button is located underneath, which means you have to lift the Mac Mini to turn it on. A little annoying, but hey, it's lightweight, and there are mods out there to fix that. So, what happens when we get the M5 and M5 Pro? How much more powerful will they be? Well, looking at the trend, Apple probably won't increase CPU core counts. The M4 already brought a 10-core CPU. But the GPU? That's a different story. The base M2 and M3 chips both had 10 GPU cores, and the M4 continued that trend. The M5 could push that up to 12 GPU cores, giving a nice boost in graphics performance. The M5 Pro might see even bigger gains, possibly an extra 2 CPU cores, most likely in the performance category, and a bump from 16 to 18 GPU cores. But as always, we'll have to wait for more leaks and benchmarks to confirm. One thing that might not change is RAM. Apple just bumped the base RAM recently, so expect the M5 to stick with 16 gigs and the M5 Pro to start at 24 gigs. But what about storage? This is where Apple really needs to step up. The base 256 gigs is starting to feel outdated, and a jump to 512 gigs as the new standard would make a lot of sense. If Apple does that, the M5 Pro could start at 1 terabyte, which would be a welcome upgrade. Now, the big question. When will we see the M5 Mac Mini? Well, Apple's track record is a bit unpredictable. We got an M1 Mac Mini, then an M2 and M2 Pro, but no M3 at all. Apple skipped that generation completely. The same thing happened with the iMac M1, no M2, then straight to M3 and M4. So, will the Mac Mini get the M5? I'd say there's about a 70% chance. It's been a strong seller, and there's no reason for Apple to skip it again. Plus, leaks suggest that production for the M5, M5 Pro, and M5 Max has already started. If that's true, we could see the new Mac Mini as early as the end of this year, possibly around November. If not, it might slip into early 2026, around January or February. As for pricing, Apple just introduced the M4 models at $599, so they're unlikely to change those prices. But as always, the second you start upgrading RAM and storage, the price will climb fast. So, what do you guys think? Will you be picking up an M5 Mac Mini if Apple releases it? Let me know in the comments. Until next time, peace out.